Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of Theatre Thoughts Podcast. We're in studio today, which I'm very excited about. I have my two favourite creatives back with us today. We have Lily Hayman and Tyler Fitzpatrick. Thank you so much for jumping back on.
Oh my God,
Hi.
Justin. That's very nice.
Oh, stop it.
You're our favourite podcaster.
Oh my goodness.
Scandal.
There's so much love in this room.
Oh, yeah, true.
Oh. You guys have been on another podcast before.
Oh, no, but also have friends who have podcasts. But it's fine. I
It's
think
fine.
we can say Justin's
It's
our
fine.
fave.
Favourites. All the love aside, welcome back.
Oh,
We're
thank
in
you.
studio. This is the first time I've actually used this space, so this is all very fun.
It's very fun.
It's very fun.
Yeah, first time we've been in a studio setting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exciting.
Good.
Yeah.
But you're here to talk about your name
Yeah.
today,
Sure.
which is
That's
coming to KXT this year on the 14th to 29th of June, which
That's
is very
nice. Yes.
exciting.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Now, I know we've already talked about you guys both before, but what have you been up to recently? Because I know, Tyler, you've been very busy at the moment.
Yeah, a little bit. I've been on a very small show called The Lewis Trilogy at Griffin Theatre Company, which, as it sounds like, is 3 shows in one, which is like the big finale for the SBW stables. It's like the last show before the huge renovations, and I was stage managing that, which was like the last 6 months of my life. Like,
Yeah.
there's not really been anything else until like the last couple of weeks, but it's just been trilogy.
Oh,
for-
yeah. And then she jumped straight. She's got a show that opened last night and a show that's opening, like, entered previews on the same night. Like, it's silly.
It's
silly
crazy.
Person
Yeah,
in
I love
demand.
that
gotta
energy.
keep going.
I love that energy.
Keep going.
Because that's the same as me. I've been like working like different jobs, and then I've stopped for a bit, and I literally have just gone like, what do I do with my life? What is all this time that I have now?
Yeah, it was like that show was so big and it's just so like all consuming that it was like
Yeah.
better have things to do after because there's going to be
Yeah,
a
big
big-
drop off.
big hole in
Yeah.
in my life.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
keep-
3 shows in a day. Now I remember
Yeah.
when I was looking at it, and I was like, is it 1 show a day? Like, is in one like every 2 weeks? And it's like, no, it was 3 in a day.
Yeah.
What was that like as a stage manager?
It was ridiculous. So we did like each show in the weeknights, and then on the weekends we did the big 3 back to back. And
Right.
like honestly, doing the big back to back was probably easier than doing the individual shows. And
Yeah.
I think as well, like for an audience experience, I think watching them back to back was so much more fulfilling and exciting, and it was like a huge event. It felt like this was the show that like this is what we made it for. Like we rehearsed the show as a trilogy. The shows were rewritten for the trilogy.
Yeah.
As a stage manager, it was exhausting. Like that's like a 14-hour day from
That's massive.
getting in, because you have to reset the set as well. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same base set, but it changed during the 3 shows.
Yeah.
So you have to go back to the beginning as well. And we would typically finish the Friday night on the last show. So you'd have to
Okay.
go back to the first
Oh
show.
my goodness.
So we have to reset it. I operated all of the shows, and there were 8 cast members
Wow.
between like 2 dressing rooms, which like one is an office space. Like, so it's running up and backwards and forwards, and having a fantastic assistant stage manager, India, just being like, grab them from downstairs. They got to sing now. They got to dance now. They got to
my
fight call
God.
now. It was mayhem, but yeah, very fulfilling, and
Yeah.
I miss them a lot. Sad.
This is so amazing. Far
Yeah.
out. I can't even imagine what like the run sheet would look like for all 3 shows, you know?
Yeah, it's like the prompt copy was like, I mean, all of the shows before they were adapted were like 3 hours each, and they were all adapted to an hour and a half. So altogether, the scripts were that much, but I had to individually change scripts. Otherwise, I'd be like reading scripts that were that far apart from each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, like all of the cues for the lights and the sound were all on separate lists, so it was not like, it
Incredible.
wasn't like da 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 da. It was cool, new show, like turning a page on
Yeah, yeah.
on everything. So yeah, it was mental.
Mental.
Yeah, but very lucky the designers made it as easy as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And then
yeah.
if you're in 25A and KXT,
Yes.
like this week. I am
Yes.
seeing both. Seeing a Rat on Sunday and then the other one on Wednesday.
Wednesday's
Yeah,
opening.
yeah,
Yeah. So it's like the 2 most different shows you could
Yeah.
throw yourself into. And I'm doing the lighting design for that, so it's good because it like a switch of the brain from like logistical to a creative.
Yeah.
one, but yeah, they're very different shows.
I bet.
Raj is very stylistic and movement based and devised and very just. What did our friend Nicole Pingon described it as being inside a painting.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so it's like that, and then you've got the opposite of that, which is like a lounge room in Northern Ireland in the 70s at a wake with big cast, 10 people, all with Northern Irish accents and family drama.
Love it.
Comedy.
I'm very keen to see
Yeah.
him.
They're very, very good. I'm thrilled.
It's so good. I love it. Many hats. Many hats is what you
Many
want.
hats.
And
Yeah.
then
Everything.
Lily as well. You've been working very hard behind the scenes at Purple Tape.
Yeah.
Tyler
Lots
as well.
going on. Yeah, we went to Adelaide Fringe earlier this year with Party Girl again,
Yes.
and have some. We're going.
Oh,
yeah.
go on, drop it.
We're going to Edinburgh, which is so exciting. Which should be out in the world by now. But yeah, we're going to Summer Hall in Edinburgh with Party Girl, which is really cool for the
Amazing.
whole month. We're doing 24
Summer
shows.
Hall.
Yeah.
Summer
Yeah,
Hall.
right. I remember walking past that last year.
Yeah. It's very, very exciting. It's a very cool venue. So
Yeah.
we're very lucky to be working in such a cool venue with so many cool artists in that program, which
Yeah.
is awesome. We just get to make a bunch of friends in Edinburgh. So yeah, getting all the ducks in the row for that, and then rehearsing Your Name at the moment.
Right.
So it's just a bit, and then working at Shopfront. So just a few little like bits and bobs.
Show
Yeah,
the
just a
Parramatta.
few things.
Oh, and I work with a company called Operated Coin. So we are
do you?
working on a few things as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do like immersive tech theatre.
Yeah.
Nick Atkins is our like lead. He's a legend. He's amazing.
Okay.
And we just we made the show called Dancing Bear, which was an immersive spy thriller in Parramatta
Amazing.
Square. So everyone got headphones and their own like phone. Like we gave everyone their own phone. And then the whole thing happens in WhatsApp. So they get
Yeah.
messages and then they hear what's happening. And then the actors like enter the square. So the whole theatre performance happens without anyone else knowing that it's happening in the middle of a public
way.
space. Yeah. So
That's
it's like
cool.
being in a spy thriller, which is really fun. And you
Ooh.
have to like hunt down the person that we're looking for
Yeah.
and things go wrong and all these things.
How fun.
But yeah, that's really fun. So I was running on that in March as well,
Yeah.
which was really, really fun. So it's been a
Busy
fun
times.
year, yeah.
And then Edinburgh. It's like, I'm so
Edinburgh.
excited for you because I did the
So
Fringe
cool.
last year, like
Yeah.
properly as like, a media person. And that was a bloody marathon in
Full on.
itself.
Yeah, you
know?
must have seen so many shows.
I did. I think I saw over 20 shows in like the space of the time I was there, which was
my
only like
God.
3 or 4 days, really.
Oh,
It wasn't like it wasn't a lot.
Oh my
Yeah, so it was a
gosh.
bloody marathon to be honest, but
Yeah.
it was amazing. I love the Fringe. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
And then
Fringe is
also
awesome.
like the thing I love about the Fringe, which I had in the back of my mind, and I had it when I saw Purple Tape, was how many good things get discovered there. You know, because that's why people go. You know,
Totally.
they want to get discovered and show their product and their shows.
Mm.
And I was like, Purple Tape, that's you. Party Girl fits on like an ABC style Fleabag show. And I was just like, come on.
yeah.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're hoping, because Summer Hall is like a really cool venue. So I hope, that's the plan. We're going to go over and see what happens, really, and
Yeah.
just do it. But
and we're there for the entire month.
Are you
Yeah.
going the whole month?
yeah, the
whole
whole month.
Incredible.
Yeah, like and
24
the show
shows.
is on the whole month.
Oh, wow. Good on you.
We have 2 nights off, two
Yeah.
Mondays
Two
off.
Mondays.
That's it.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So that's going to be a wild.
That's
gonna be
incredible.
time.
You're going to meet so
It's
many
gonna be so
people.
cool. Yeah, it's going to be. And I've never even been to Europe, let alone.
Yeah.
Oh, haven't
Same.
you?
No.
Same.
Oh, my God.
So it's
Yeah.
a big moment. I've been to Asia, but I haven't been to Europe.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I'll give you some Rex.
yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
Oh my
Rex, a place
gosh.
to go.
Yes, I'm keen as to
You got to put some
especially
hiking
about food.
boots on and you got to go up to Arthur's Seat.
Oh yes.
Yep, get some good hiking boots, go all the way up.
Kate Gore
Yes.
told me, she was like, you need proper shoes because
Yeah.
the cobblestones, like, you'll hurt your
Oh.
feet.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
Like, I didn't even think about shoes.
I think we went on New Year's. I went there for Hogmanay a couple of years
Ooh.
back, way back. And then we did Arthur's Seat on New Year's Day.
Oh wow.
Do not recommend on after Hogmanay, but it was cold but amazing.
Oh my God.
Oh wow. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
I'm excited
Yeah.
for you.
I want to get tickets to the tattoo as well, like the military tattoo with
yes,
the drumming.
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
definitely.
like not like I think it'll be really cool, but
Yeah.
I mostly want to go because that's my dad's like biggest dream is to
Oh,
go and
okay.
see the
Yeah.
military tattoo. So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I should go
Yeah.
to like rub it in his face. No.
Yeah.
So that he can live it out
Yeah.
Aw.
through me.
I love
But
it.
yeah,
That's so
it's
sweet.
pretty cool.
I'm excited. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, let's then talk about your name. Now, I have to admit, don't know too much about it, which I
Ooh.
love. I love going into something and don't know too much. So
It's exciting.
I'm just going to read out what's on the website.
Yeah.
Okay. So it says,
What is on the website?
in the year of our Lord 2013, 3 teenage friends are writing the next great classic work of fiction, a smutty fanfic about their favourite boy wizard. As the girls' story begins to unravel, their erotic masterpiece falls into the lap of their PDHPE teacher, Mr. Isaacs. Friendships are tested, careers are threatened, pleasure games are engorged. Please don't tell my mum.
Please
Wow.
Please don't tell my mum.
Get
Yeah.
me a ticket.
Yeah. It's a fun.
So where does
fun.
this come from?
So it's a fantastic new work written by Kate Babarlo, which was her. She did the MFA writing at NIDA
Yeah.
and finished, I guess, in the end of 2023, like because it finishes like mid-year.
Okay.
So she finished. Yeah, so she's just kind of fresh out of NIDA, and it was her major that she wrote, and we got given it during tapeover because I was just like looking for scripts by new writers. And we did a reading in tapeover, and it was just a hit. Like it was like I was sitting in there, and I was just like, oh, like this is great. And so then we chatted with Kate, and we're like, well, we'd
We'll
love to
pitch it.
make that. Yeah, we'll pitch that. We'd love to make that our show that we're going to pitch for next year. And she was keen, and she's the best. She's a really, really fabulous, funny new writer. Like she's just like I really feel like. I don't know that the indie space has that many like people that you're like, oh, that person like works comedy. Like that is a comedy writer.
Yeah, right.
Like I feel like we've got a lot of funny people.
Yeah.
But like I feel like a lot of us are like always like, to me, indie spaces, like sometimes we always go for like the dramatic. I guess because in an indie space you're often telling your own story or something like that. So
Yeah, that's kind of what people write from, isn't it?
yeah, so sometimes you don't necessarily get those like absolutely bonkers comedies. And this is that. It is bizarre.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's half set in the fan fiction, so we like go in and we like spend
Love
time
it.
in the fan fiction world, and then half set outside with the PDHB teacher who's found this fanfic. And then
Insane.
the like fallout of like, oh my god, our teachers read our smut.
But
What's
also
gonna happen?
so relatable.
So
Yeah.
relatable, that panic.
Yeah.
The panic.
Yeah, so she's a fantastic new writer. Like I feel like we've like really, really lucky that we just like crossed paths early, because I feel like she'll go out there and be a pretty awesome working Australian writer.
Yeah.
She's pretty great.
How cool is that?
Mm.
So I guess now when you did like a little showcase, is there music involved, or did I make that up?
No, it's just like
Or was that just them reading it? Was it?
yeah, it was just a
Okay,
reading. Yeah, it was
right.
just a reading.
It looked
that
like
one.
they were going to sing. And
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
had.
they're
No,
doing a musical.
I wish. Oh my god. Well, who knows?
Mm-mm.
Don't give me
Future.
ideas.
Yeah.
There could be a song or two. I think there's a lot of. We're in rehearsals now, so I'm like always pulling.
Lily's directing the show.
I am directing.
Yeah, you're
yes.
directing it,
So
yep.
we're like in rehearsals. I'm always like, and it's just this show that like I feel like the further we go into it, the sillier it gets. Like it's just such a fun rehearsal process.
Yeah.
So even the other day, I was like, in Harry Potter, like in the soundtrack, all the like choral like singing that happens, like all the like. Sort of, I was like, I feel like that's coming in somewhere, and everyone
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my god!"
Oh my
And I was
goodness.
like, "So just get ready for some choral singing, maybe." And
Yeah.
they were like, "Okay." So it's very outside. It's very magical. Everything just pops out of anywhere, including the style of the show. It just
Yeah.
like pops out of anywhere.
So I
Yeah.
guess also with the show, like it is, like you said, it's about my favorite boy wizard. So Harry Potter. But I guess it's not about it.
No.
So, and I
Yeah.
feel like with the fiction world, it's hard to escape Harry Potter.
Mm.
It's like anytime you touch anything that's magical or anything that's wizardry, they go, oh, so it's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm trying to
100%.
like scoot around it. And it's hard to escape that sort of shadow that it has now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
I think we are sort of leaning into it in a weird way. Like I think the work itself is kind of like got moments of parodying
Oh, totally.
of parody.
Yeah.
But then also in the design and stuff like that, we often refer to the design of the show as Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, but on an independent theatre budget.
Love it.
So
Good.
so that's sort of like the some of the stylistic choices and some of the design elements will kind of I mean, it's kind of that thing where you say you can't escape it. Like we'll put them in robes, but then it's like Harry Potter. Like
Yeah.
kind of will just happen. So it's like you kind of have to
you
lean into it a
little
bit.
bit. I also think as well, what I love about the script is, it's not so much about Harry Potter or like, it's not really a love letter to Harry Potter in any way. It's very much, to me, a love letter to the fandom and community and art that like sprang out of Harry Potter, but
Yeah.
also just in general from that time on the internet, like that 2013, 2014 time on Tumblr, and the way that young girls grew up through what was like, that was when I was coming up. That was when Tyler was like, we're very much like the age that these girls are like in the play. We were that age at that time.
Yeah.
And so I think it's very much, for me, it's Kate's love letter to the way that young women of our age grew up and the difficulties that that presented, but also like the real like joyful relationships that could be built on the back of something silly like Harry Potter. It's like you can almost, it could have been anything. It's about the friendship that springs out of like ripping it apart and talking about every little thing about it and the obsession.
What if this did this instead of this?
Yeah,
literally.
so it's like a vehicle for obsession more than it is just like
I still
Harry
remember
Potter.
like waiting outside the shops. My mum like let us go like have the day off
Absolutely.
school and we waited outside the bookshop back when there were bookshops and
It
like
was so
literally
full on.
waited for the doors to open so we could go and get our copy and then we went like somewhere and just started reading it.
Literally,
Yeah.
there's
You
a
know?
famous story in my house as well, like, because my sister had to go on camp the day after it came out, so we had to go and get it so she could read it on
Yeah,
camp.
yeah.
And there's this famous story that, because it was the last, no, it was Harry Potter 6. It was,
Okay.
it was
Half-Blood.
Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood.
Thank you. And she was reading it, and then this girl on her bus was like, "Can I just read the last page or two? Like, I'm not going to read it. I just want to know what happens." Oh no, sorry, it was the final one. It was the final one. I'm not going to
Even
read
worse.
it. I'm not going to read it. Like, I just want to know what happens. And so Stella let her, foolish, and because it's the 19 years later thing, and like, so Stella heard the like stuff about like, it came out like the all is well, like it, like all of that, and so Stella knew what was going to happen, and she was just so mad.
Yep.
And she came back and she was just like storming around the house because I was little and I hadn't finished it yet, and so she couldn't explain why she was so like grumpy because like then she would have to kind of explain
Oh yeah.
what happened on the bus, and then she didn't want to ruin it for me. So there's a famous story about my sister coming home from camp so upset,
Oh.
and I was just like, "It's so good." And, like, she didn't,
I
she was
still
just
remember
like,
I
"Oh,
was at the
touch it."
bus stop and I had the book and somebody was like, "Oh, it's the Half-Blood Prince," and someone went, "Oh, what about when Dumbledore dies?" And I went, "What?"
I still hesitate to say that now, and it's like,
and I'm like,
we all
surely we know it's been like 20 years.
exactly,
Yeah.
but it's just like you can't ruin that part of the book.
Oh, it was
you
terrible.
can't
you
tell
can't
people
say
about
things
that.
like
It broke me. I was so upset.
That's so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Although there was also, my mum used to read them to us as well, and the RAB locket, like the I was like, "That's Sirius's brother." Like as
You
soon
like
as it
guessed
happened,
it.
right,
I was like,
yeah,
"That's
yeah,
Sirius's
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
His name's Regulus." It's Alan. Like I was so like,
Yeah.
I know what it is, and then it came out in book 7, and
Yeah.
I was just like traipsing around the house, like,
Told
"I was right.
ya.
I was
That's
right.
right.
I got that little detail," and everyone was like, "Okay, shut up."
Oh my god.
But I guess, and I've like the elephant. Like when anyone talks about Harry Potter now, is obviously its creator, J.K. Rowling,
Absolutely.
and everything that she's coming out with. Very anti-trans comments and so on. And you've got the actors who have distanced themselves and said like, well, it's not that right. I guess the question, and this is one I've had a lot, is how do you distance creator from creation? It's the whole Frankenstein, discussion that goes all the way back.
Yeah, I think this is kind of what Lily was talking about before, about how the community have taken Harry Potter and they've taken the bits that really relate and the most important themes in the show are friendship and love. The show, the books,
The books.
friendship and love, and they've taken that and the community is built on that rather than anything else.
Yeah.
Like she created it, but at the end of the day, the fandom and the community are all based on like the themes of the books, which are all kind of universal things. They just happen to have been placed in this magical world.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, I do think it's interesting as well now, because obviously Harry Potter had like, it's, as you say, it's inescapable. Like its impact, like it's kind of one of those like cultural things that just went everywhere. Like it's like truly like universal kind of story that everyone knows about. But now that we're like kind of further away from that, and like the first generation that were reading the books as it came out, like all of us, are a bit older as well. I feel like as Tyler says, like there's a community there and there's references, but I feel like necessarily the like going and supporting her in buying a book again or doing all of that like is less like people don't necessarily want to monetarily engage with it anymore, which I think is an interesting way of thinking about it. It's like, well, Harry Potter has like universally impacted my life, and I will reference it without even thinking about it. Like, it's,
of course,
it's in there.
It's just one of those embedded things.
Yeah, but then it's like, oh, do I want to, like, do I need to go and buy that Deathly Hallows pendant when I probably have 7 of them somewhere in my house? Like, is there a way to like appreciate the movement that Harry Potter was, and then but without like kind of continuing to support that rhetoric?
Yeah, exactly.
Which she is not is not great.
Kind of doubling down.
Yeah, very much doubling down. And it is also very interesting, like the way that she is like she started as this like kind of influential woman.
Oh, very much.
And everyone kind of looked up to her as this woman.
Yeah.
And then she's kind of taken that and weaponized it in a like really gross way.
Yeah, it's really gross,
really
isn't
turfy way. And it's like, okay, like maybe like also as a women-led company, it's there's like a few layers to like what are we like doing. So we've been talking a lot in the room as well about like having like some real engagement with like trans artists in our community as well, and
nice.
Just acknowledging the elephant in the room. I suppose.
Of course.
I think that's what you have to do with Harry Potter because it is so huge.
Yeah,
acknowledge the elephant in the room. Take active steps to like not support what she has become and what that rhetoric has become, and like actively say we don't engage with that, we don't support that. And like make sure that that's clear and supported.
No, I like that.
Is our move.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to come and see it. I definitely am. Well, it runs to the 14th to 29th of June. We can get tickets at kingsxtheatre.com, and it's all going to be in the description as well. So.
Yay.
How good fun. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. It's so good to see you and
in
chat.
IRL.
IRL.
That's internet speak.
It is internet speak.